Let's take you to this now. Former President Jacob Zuma's lawyers argue why the summons issued against journalist Karyn Maughan and arms deal prosecutor Downer is legally sound. Today, a full bench will listen to reasons why the attempt by Zuma to privately prosecute the two should not be considered as vindictive. The former president is accusing Downer and Maughan of leaking his medical records unlawfully. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo is at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg for us this morning, and she's been tracking this case as it's been unfolding. Ziyanda, good morning. Give us a sense of what happened earlier in the week in court.
Well, Michelle, essentially the arguments by Karyn Maughan and Downer's lawyers are quite similar in the sense that they both say that the former president is abusing court processes and abusing, the private prosecution. You'll note that it's a fairly untested kind of piece of law insofar as the Criminal Procedures Act is concerned. They're saying that he is not using it for the correct purposes in the sense that the nulli prosecutor certificates that were issued by the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Elaine Zunguhen, KwaZulu-Natal, made no mention of Karyn Maughan. Downer's lawyers arguing that at no stage did he give the instruction for the medical records of the former president to be given to Karyn Maughan, that he was told then by Advocate Breitenbach and Andrew Breitenbach once he'd already done so. So even if he had done so, it would not have been a problem because it was a public document. Stephen Butland on behalf of Downer saying in terms of the timelines, the papers were filed twice in court on the 9th of August and then again on the 10th of August. So there's no issue with regards to the medical records because they don't actually expose the nature of the condition that the former president is suffering from. The other issue that was raised by Karyn Maughan's lawyers was the fact that they're saying that the former president is trying to intimidate and harass her insofar as her being able to report on the arms deal trial, that she's one of the few who since the beginning of this matter has continued reporting on this, so she has the institutional memory regarding this, and that in some ways this is a trampling of freedom of expression, which is something that was expressed then by the amicus, the friends of the court, to Karyn Maughan in the form of SANEF, the Media Monitoring Africa and Freedom of Expression. They also, spoke about Section 16 of the Constitution, which of course speaks about the, the freedom of expression and the media freedoms that are given to us as journalists. So today then, Michelle, will be hearing then from the former president's lawyers in rebuttal then to what we heard on court on Monday.
And Ziyanda, there's going to be quite a bit of presence, shall we say, outside court. I understand the South African National Editors Forum will also be holding a picket in support of Karyn Maughan.
Absolutely. So we understand that that would have begun at 7:30. Hadn't spotted anything yet. Perhaps it's also because of the weather. It is raining here in Pietermaritzburg this morning. And we understand that it's not going to be necessarily a big crowd, but just colleagues in the media showing solidarity with Karyn Maughan, saying that journalism is not a crime. What she has done was to basically report on a public document. And the other issue that's been raised as well in court papers, Michelle, has been the fact that the former president did not explicitly, request that his medical records be sealed and be confidential. But nevertheless, also, there are parts of these medical records that have been redacted. And this is actually something that came up as well during the private prosecution attempt against President Cyril Ramaphosa in January, where the argument was that, well, how is the president an accessory to a crime when he doesn't even know what happened? He was only told after the fact, and that the nature of the condition faced by the former president is still not known even to this day. So the purpose of that picket is to also show solidarity with Karyn Maughan, that she should not be intimidated out of reporting on the arms deal trial and the various aspects to it, because you'll recall recall that those the medical records issue became a bone of contention when the former president was seeking a postponement of the arms deal trial, and there was a difference in opinion in terms of whether or not the health of the former president was to the extent that the trial needs to be postponed until he, becomes of better health, or whether it should actually continue.
Ziyanda and Ngcobo live to us there at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. Thanks very much indeed for that update, Ziyanda.